But I think the kind of premise of the second workshop is really, based on the kind of concept that vulnerability is not easy, especially in the startup sphere. And Ricardo, do you want to chime in a little bit?
Yeah, how multifaceted any as I was saying before, how multifaceted any system, any problem is. So, and how easy it is to miss the blind spots, the blind spots, precisely, blind spots. So yeah, I think at this point of the conversation, we have had time to discuss about different ideas, how we see it, how the mythos behind the entrepreneur, right, and how difficult it is. So I guess it's a good moment to reflect about the moral vulnerabilities and try to see it from the angle of how we can actually leverage its everyone's skills in improving these moral aspects specifically.
Yep. And so just to kind of shed a little bit of background, oftentimes, founders and VC firms and hackathons and events, everyone's kind of expected to have good posture and present with, pretty much looking bulletproof, even though there's a lot of holes and oftentimes what we're working on. And to kind of, experience that, go through that, and create a kind of an environment of engagement where, we build an idea, present an idea, and then as a community we work together to talk about the challenges with those ideas to kind of facilitate a conversation on how to build better. We're kind of going to go through some of that exercise. And so we'll be breaking off into teams again. And there'll be different teams, so we'll go around in a circle and count off by fives one more time. And the whole premise is we'll be working to essentially develop over the course of about 15 minutes a startup concept that targets a health problem or a social equity problem. And this is a problem that your team will work together to pick. So you're not given a problem, you're identifying one. And you'll produce a one-page sketch. So you want to kind of describe the problem, the solution, where you'd be getting the data to solve that problem or the resources to solve that problem, who the users or of this platform or what you're building would be, and how you hope to build a revenue model to sustain whatever you're building. And as we kind of go through this exercise, you guys should employ all the resources that are out there in the world floating around, all the Claudes, all the language models that exist, and feel free to use that as a platform for ideation, building this, questioning this internally, and then we'll convene afterwards and do kind of a pitch of your idea. And that pitch, each team will present for about 2 minutes, and no feedback from the room would be given just yet. The room simply is there. We're there as a community to listen, take notes, and then we'll all rotate through the room, auditing each of the teams, so that now we have teams kind of we work together to identify what could be different in the pitch, what were challenges with the idea that was presented. And essentially conducting a vulnerability or moral vulnerability audit of what's going on with the company that they're.
Yeah, and I would like to add that we want everyone, guys, to feel safe and to share and to consider. So we have been taught that any criticism, any attack on our ideas, on our work, means that we have missed something. Here we are working from the default that we know, our baseline is we know we have flaws, we know we cannot see the problem at its completion. So any comment, any criticism that you receive is oriented towards building something better. It's not an attack. It doesn't mean you have missed something. It only means your idea can be further enhanced.
Mm-hmm. And so in order to help facilitate some initial conversations on the way we audit and the way we think through, kind of this construction, in a sense. We have some kind of categories of thinking or kind of broad buckets of different ways to look at things, or lenses rather, in the audit framework on the website. Feel free to stray away from that as well. Those are just places to start, but by no means are they like the only way to kind of audit essentially these pitches that we're doing. And then afterwards, after we essentially do the audit, have that conversation and look at our unexamined assumptions, the teams will go back and revise their pitch, not as a buried risk section or kind of like trying to, address them superficially, but as a core value of this proposition, as a core structure of what we're hoping to build. And then we'll come back together and talk about what we've learned through that process, about implementing feedback, about understanding what our own blind spots were, and how do we build and kind of embrace epistemic humility as we both evaluate and build for our own ideas, if that makes sense. So we'll count off by 5, starting with Ricardo, and we'll go around the room. Yeah.
So the audit part, we come back here, right?
Correct.
Because we audit each other.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll break off to have the conversations in the groups about how we could address the audits, and then we'll reflect on that
Second iteration.
together. Yeah.
Yep. So 1 again.
Great. Great.
All right. Sweet. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
So let's get it.